What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kid Mizzle back with you again, and today I am gonna take stock, you could say, of the Apple TV 4 ahead of the eventual announcement of the Apple TV 5 slash Apple TV 4K or whatever the heck they want to call it. I'm gonna tell you why. If the price comes down for the Apple TV 4, if you're really not pressed on a 4K option, why this device can be something you should look at. Um, I've had the Apple TV 4 since I believe the beginning of last year, and it's been the best streaming device I've had. I've had a Roku, I've had a Fire TV, and off the bat, one thing I like about the Apple TV 4 is they don't put ads in your face. That's something that you see on the Roku if you're going down the list of apps to the right. It's something you see on the Fire TV because they have banner ads and stuff like that. When you get the Apple TV 4, of course, there's the iTunes, TV and movie you get in the top row. But the great thing about that, you stuff it down in here, boom, folder out of the way, don't have to worry about it. And you put whatever you want in this top shelf, and then you get access to the stuff you want to see quickly. That's something that can't be discounted. You don't have to deal with ads. It's a lot more straightforward experience on the Apple TV. Like, it's just icons, rows and icons. And it's ad free in terms of the interface, the home screen, and that's something that I think for me I appreciate about the Apple TV 4. Another thing to me is the lack of glitches and problems and hangups and stuff. In my time with the Roku, I've had apps not react properly, and it's kind of hard to between, like, you have to restart or you have to do stuff, and it can be a little bit funky. With the Fire TV, if you want to get an app to force close, you have to go into settings and find the application force stop it. It's just, it can get a little bit, in depth. With the Apple TV, if you go into an app, you have an issue with it, let's say it starts bugging out, because I will admit, like, let's say, like, for whatever reason, it's a little bit sluggish for whatever reason. Like, doesn't happen often, but I've had an app before where, like, I need to force close it. It's so easy to be able to double click the TV button, swipe it up, and reopen the app. And that 9 times out of 10 will get the app to act right. And it's simple. You don't have to go into settings. You don't have to dive into, a bunch of different options just to get it to work right. And that's been an experience that's been great for me because I turn it on, it works, which is how all streaming devices should work. So I've enjoyed that about the Apple TV. Another thing, which is kind of understated when it comes to the Apple TV 4, the search features, the search functionality is actually pretty legit. Real quick, let me search for a show. Heroes. Euros. The Euros of Hollywood. Okay. I can say this. Sometimes the remote doesn't always get you saying what you want to say. I have no idea what the hell Euros of Hollywood is, but it's available. It's a show if you want to see it at some point. Heroes. There we go. So there you go. So it'll bring up a bunch of stuff like this, things that are attached to Heroes. I was looking for the TV show, so let's look at the TV show. And boom, look at that. The first option it gives you is Crackle. That's big, and then iTunes if you want to buy the show. So, of course, if you're buying a show, you have to buy it through iTunes. With Roku, if you buy a show, you have to buy it through the platform that they endorse. If you buy a show on the Fire TV, you buy it through Amazon. So it just depends on where you're buying it from. But I like the fact that Crackle's not like a main service, It's not a big time service. Like with most of the other, Roku, bar none, great search. But with the Fire TV, sometimes you'll search for a show and it'll give you Amazon results to buy over Crackle or something. I know they've gotten better in recent updates, but it's still something that's there's still a difficulty sometimes with Fire TV and finding what you want and where is it located. And I think Apple TV has taken a good step in moving in the right direction in terms of making the universal search more universal. And I applaud them on that. Another thing that's really cool about the search is this MLB games today. So you see, so there's 15 games for today. Slide up, look at that. So it shows you the games that are going on today, the scores, and then also you can click into the MLB app to continue watching. That's really sick. And the same thing will happen with NBA, with the NBA app, and college football with the ESPN app. Like, that's a legit feature. And it kind of promotes the unified structure of the Apple TV, and that everything's kind of together. You know, supposed to be a seamless experience. And this is an example of that. And I really do like this feature. That to me is kind of a really legit addition to the search functionality. Another cool thing is you kind of get the newest features and apps in most cases. ESPN just released a new update to their app. We got it here. You know, the first version of the Hulu Live TV app on Apple TV first. When they updated the Fox Sports Go app with the multi-window, it was here first. MLB app, you know, that was on Apple TV amongst the first. You know, same with March Madness app. So because of the internals of the platform, developers end up putting a lot of the newest versions of apps here first and then porting them over to the Fire TV and to Roku. So there is a advantage to having a platform where for the most part you're getting the newest versions of apps and seeing the newest features. The exception to the rule, of course, would be YouTube. YouTube looks pretty old, so it kind of follows the old UI of the Apple TV. So, but it gets the job done. It just isn't as new as some of the other apps. Same with Crackle. Crackle kind of has a older Apple TV look to it. It's functional, of course, but you know, doesn't have the flashiness of a lot of these newer apps. You see here Crackle bugging out. So actually, let's see. Let's try it right now. So you see Crackle didn't load. So if I force close it that way, come back, let's take a look at Crackle. Oh, popcorn flicks. Let's come out of this. Crackle. Let's see if it loads this time, and there you go. So, but that right there is just an example of sometimes, hey, an app just, you know, conks out on you. It just, you know, it glitches. And you see it's pretty easy on the Apple TV to get it to function properly just by force closing it just that easily. And another thing is just the fluidity of the Apple TV. It's really enjoyable. It's really smooth. And overall, the biggest flaws, in my opinion, no Amazon, no Voodoo, and those things are coming before the end of the year. So there's a lot of pluses with the Apple TV. No 4K, but that should be coming with the next box. So, and the main thing is Apple is working on these things. And I'm not an Apple guy. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have a Mac. You know, I have a Samsung phone and I work on Windows. So, but I think Apple is on the right track with their streaming service, but the price does need to come down for the Apple TV 4. But I think it's worthy of a purchase once the price comes down, if it comes down once a new box is released. So that has been my kind of review, my impressions of my last year plus with the Apple TV. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop me a comment down in the comment section. Leave a like if you want, you know, subscribe if you want. But I'll be back soon with more Apple TV content.